We are filing a lawsuit against Donald Trump for violating the law as part of his efforts to generate profits for himself, his family, and his company.
New York's Attorney General Letitia James has sued Donald Trump for years of financial fraud. So I covered this earlier in a live stream. I'm going to show you several clips breaking down the story, including what I was saying before, the announcement, as well as a summary in terms of what they are asking for in terms of the consequences. I'm also going to show you the clip years ago that led to this very day, and also a clip from Fox News reacting to it. All right, so here are the clips from my live stream. This is supposed to be a major announcement, all right? Usually they don't say there's going to be a major announcement unless something major is going to be announced, usually.
I am announcing that today we are filing a lawsuit against Donald Trump for violating the law as part of his efforts to generate profits for himself, his family, and his company. The complaint demonstrates that Donald Trump falsely inflated his net worth by billions of dollars to unjustly enrich himself and to cheat the system, thereby cheating all of us. All told, we uncovered more than 200 examples of false and misleading asset valuations that were used on his statements. The pattern of fraud and deception that was used by Mr. Trump and the Trump Organization for their own financial benefit is astounding.
Civil lawsuit. Something finally. Now that, that doesn't mean that there isn't more coming. But this is a civil lawsuit from the New York AG. Let me go over the details here. I will also show you the clip years ago that led to what you just saw here, and just a lot of information around this. All right, so here is the breakdown from the AG herself. Today I filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump for engaging in years of financial fraud to enrich himself, his family, and the Trump Organization. There aren't two sets of laws for people in this nation. Foreign presidents must be held to the same standard as everyday Americans. So the actions of consequences. We are seeking to make Trump pay $250 million, ban the Trumps from running New York businesses for good. For good. Now it is New York businesses. I guess they could just go to the next state, but there you go. Ban Trump and Trump Org from buying commercial real estate in New York for 5 years. I guess they're seeking to do these things, but if the Trump Org is banned from New York, how could Trump even get any real estate? I guess unless it's personally. But 5 years. We're making a criminal referral to the U.S. Department of Justice. All right. With the help of Donald Jr., Eric, Ivanka, and other defendants, Trump variously unlawfully inflated and deflated his net worth by billions to obtain and satisfy loans, get insurance benefits, and pay lower taxes. In short, he lied to gain massive financial benefits for himself. And again, I will get to what led to this. We found that Trump, his family, and the Trump Org used fraudulent and misleading asset valuations over 200 times in 10 years. Again, this is not an honest mistake. Over 200 times in 10 years on his annual financial statements. These statements were then used to obtain hundreds of millions of dollars in loans and insurance coverage. And why did he keep doing it? Because he kept getting away with it. Trump is one example. Now, I do think he is an extreme example. I do think he's one of the worst criminals in American history. But I'm sure other wealthy people do this shit as well. Maybe not over 200 times, but they do it. And they often get away with it because of the power and the wealth that they hold. But finally, somebody here, at least one of the worst versions of this, having some charges against him. Trump's crimes are not victimless. When the well-connected and powerful break the law to get more money than they are entitled to, it reduces resources available to working people, small businesses, and taxpayers. Like this is going to be the reply. You are so dumb that, because what are they going to say? So I guess this is the last tweet in the in the thread. Otherwise, there'll be something else here. You are so dumb, really dumb, for following the law. unless this is direct towards Trump, in which case, but I don't think so. Colorado conservative. All right. So finally, something. Now, what led to this? Well, this right here. Trump can thank AOC for. Now, look, it may have happened regardless, but Letitia James stated this is when they began the investigation.
I will remind everyone that this investigation only started after Michael Cohen, his former lawyer, testified before Congress and shed light on this misconduct.
To your knowledge, did the president ever provide inflated assets to an insurance company?
Yes.
Who else knows that the president did this?
Alan Weisselberg, Ron Lieberman, and Matthew Calamari.
And where would the committee find more information on this? Do you think we need to review his financial statements and his tax returns in order to compare them?
Yes, and you'd find it at the Trump org.
To your knowledge, was the president interested in reducing his local real estate bills, tax bills?
Yes.
And how did he do that?
What you do is you deflate the value of the asset, and then you put in a request to the tax department for a deduction.
There you go. This line of questioning here from AOC to Michael Cohen. This is what led to their investigation. And ultimately, look, when you have people that actually know shit get to be involved in these sorts of things and ask questions and bring things up, you have, some good results occasionally. And we would see a lot more of these results if more people like AOC would be allowed to join these committees and ask these questions. At the beginning of the stream, I brought up how Trump has called Letitia James racist. Racist for investigating Trump for his crimes. Racist. Okay. It's just, this shows you they have nothing. If he had a better defense, he would use it. This is his defense. Oh, she's racist. It's a witch hunt. But how about the crimes? Do you have any defense of those? These people are so overtly and obviously criminals and disgusting people that it blows my mind that everybody in support of him must know, right? That he's a criminal. They must. They can't think this is all just made up out of thin air. This has been obvious for a while. He is clearly just look at how he ran for president. Remember he said healthcare. He would have healthcare for everyone. Then he tried to strip away the one of the few protections Americans have, which isn't even all that great, but it was something in the ACA. And where's that healthcare plan? Remember the healthcare plan? Oh, it's 2 weeks away. It's coming. No healthcare plan. It was all bullshit. He's a complete con man. You don't even have to go to this. It's obvious from the way he conducts himself in any situation. But so all of this is just, yes, clearly he's a criminal. He's been doing this for years. So because it is a civil dispute and not a criminal indictment, Trump's invocation of the Fifth Amendment didn't actually save him from harm. In a civil matter, invoking the Fifth can be used as a reason to make what lawyers call an adverse inference, or in plain terms, the conclusion that someone didn't want to answer because the truth didn't look good. So maybe using the Fifth was not the greatest idea for Trump and his children there. Trump's son, Eric Trump, likewise invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 500 times. 500 times. And as Trump said, when you use it, it means you're guilty. You're hiding something. To finally see him held accountable for some, and we aren't seeing I brought up the asks. We aren't seeing the actual this actually implemented yet, or him paying back any of this money yet. But for this to finally be out there in the open, there is this lawsuit. This is what he did. They have many examples. They just gave a few during that press conference, but they have many examples of the criminality that he was involved in and how he inflated his assets. More than 200 false statements about his assets over 10 years. One apartment he inflated from, it was $750,000. It was valued at that, just $750,000. He inflated to $49 million. From $750K to $49 million. Fox cuts away from AG Letitia James announcing a civil suit against Trump, claiming it's really inside baseball. All right, you got to see this.
So the New York State Attorney General has just announced a rather lengthy and detailed layout of the lawsuit that she is putting against
It's too
Donald Trump,
complicated for
former
our audience.
president. Some of this is really inside baseball unless it's your tax dollars in New York. And some people may even accuse it of being political because we're 48 days away from the midterm elections.
Yes, which Trump is famously running in. What? Why would that matter at all? So she first says, oh, it's just New York. Who cares? I mean, just New York, whatever. And then, oh, and now it's political because it's affecting the entire midterms of the entire country. Doesn't have to be logical, just has to trigger the right people watching.
And some people may even accuse it of being political because we're 48 days away from the midterm elections. And both presidents, the current and the past, are certainly being looked at to help candidates out. So we'll see how this plays out. We're certainly going to cover it, and we'll bring you highlights as they.
By the way, do you think this would even hurt Republicans? Like what? Like even if you want to say it's political, the people that are voting that right now are thinking about voting for Republicans, they don't give a shit about this. If they haven't already left the Trump train, why would this now make them leave? Come on. No, this is this idea that, like, when is a good time to bring an investigation, or when is a good time to lay a lawsuit? If they wait till after the midterms, oh well, now he's running for the primary, we can't do it now. Like there's no good time to do any of this. These people, regardless of what the hell is going on in the world, if you broke the fucking law as many times as Trump did, and you're a obvious criminal, I don't care if it's the day before the election. You broke the law. If this is when the investigation's over, this is when it's over, this is when they're laying the lawsuit, that's it. You have to be held accountable. You can't tell, like, if you lied on your taxes, you can't be like, oh well, next week is my cousin's birthday. Not a good time. Can you hold off on your charges until after? Like, no one else is afforded any kind of leeway like this. But we're just supposed to assume that, oh, it's perfectly okay to allow these massive criminals on a national scale to just wait a bit longer because they have things to do. They have rallies to go to. Get the fuck out of here.